Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and I welcome you to this channel. Hopefully you're already a subscriber. If not, you'll want to, because here we teach people the truth about marriage. It's a spiritual thing. It is, and that doesn't mean this whole thing is all about God. But love is spiritual, joy is spiritual, and that's why you get married. So this topic it's an interesting topic. I'm married, but constantly thinking about someone else. Uh-oh. And what does that say? What it says, well, it's saying two things. One is that this other person that you're thinking about has had a deep impression upon you. And with that impression, along with that goes a lot of imagination. Because when you think about someone, when you've met someone, when you see somebody, your imagination runs with it and creates images that are usually not true. You even know that about your spouse. Before you got married, and maybe before you started living together, depends on how you did it, you had impressions of your soulmate, let's call them your soulmate, that turned out not to be the full story. Isn't that true? It doesn't mean that you married the wrong person, so let's get that out of the way. What it means is that your focus is not within your marriage, and that's on you. But it's not really your fault, because no one ever taught you how to be married. No one teaches anyone how to be married. We don't learn about marriage growing up. We learn about algebra. We learn about history, not fully. But what we should be learning about is the one thing that just about everyone does, which is be married. And yet we don't. And it's no one's fault. I'm not blaming society. You know, we're an evolving society. The world is evolving. Thank God it's moving in the right direction. There's fewer wars, more prosperity. But we still haven't reached the point where we can talk about marriage. And the reason why we don't is very important, because we don't know about marriage in general. I do. Our counselors at the Marriage Foundation do, and the people who have taken our courses, whether it's the course for men or the course for women, understand marriage. I mean, I'll give you for instance, my favorite definition about marriage, which I invented, this definition, is that it's an individual spiritual path that we take with our soulmate. And now, why is it a spiritual path? It's a spiritual path because the goals are spiritual goals. Joy and love. What could be more spiritual? They're not mundane, they're not material goals, they're spiritual goals. So, you're thinking about someone else, and there's a reason why. And it's not like you're thinking about everyone else, just a particular person. There's nothing wrong with that per se. But it is an indicator that you have not been nurturing your marriage. And that's the second thing. When we get married, most of us get married because it's the next thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It seems reasonable. And yet, we don't do that with anything else in our life. When we buy a new car, which is not a permanent decision, we're going to have that car for a few years, maybe 10 years. And yet you investigate cars like crazy to make sure you're getting the right one. And then after you get the car, you're careful to maintain it. You make sure you change the oil all the time. You've learned how to drive it. But with marriage, we just get married. Like everything is just going to fall into place. And it doesn't. And it doesn't because it's not how things work. When you take something on, it's your job to learn about it as much as you can so you understand it. Now, if your marriage is not in trouble, and I don't think it is, then get one of my books, either Lessons for a Happy Marriage or Breaking the Cycle, so you could understand marriage from a bird's eye point of view and understand better how you should behave, how you should be cultivating the love and the devotion that you should be having for your spouse. Most people don't realize that the term marital bliss is real. There is such a thing. But most people only think about it when they see it on a greeting card or something. They don't realize it's achievable. And I'll go further. They don't realize that it's what marriage is intended for. It's intended for that. It's just like you get a car. It's intended to take you to different places. You don't just get in the car, turn on the radio, and sit down and relax. It has a purpose. And you have to learn how to utilize the car to achieve the purpose. It's the same with marriage. Marriage, too, has a purpose, two purposes. One purpose is to discover that happiness, real happiness, not fleeting happiness, but the kind of happiness that is so deep that you wake up in the morning and go, wow, thank you, God, for what I have. It's amazing. And the second purpose is to learn to love unconditionally. This world is a very tough place. It's very hard to be like a Gandhi or a Jesus or a Moses and just love everyone, or Sister Teresa, Mother Teresa. We can't do that in the world because we'll be annihilated. But you can do it in your marriage. Marriage is a special venue. There's nothing like it. And you can learn to love unconditionally. But if you're not doing that, then the mind, which does not like love, by the way, the mind does not like love. It's a possession you have, is the mind, and you don't control it. And so it controls you. And then you think about someone else, and you feel guilty, you feel ashamed, you feel there's something wrong with your marriage maybe, but it isn't like that. What's wrong is you're not putting your focus on nurturing the love and the devotion and the loyalty you have with your spouse. And so you need to learn how to do so, and then it'll be amazing. Now, I founded the Marriage Foundation. I used to be a divorce mediator, and then I shifted. And I worked with individuals and couples using these total different concepts than traditional marriage counselors who are trained as psychologists. And so they see things as problems that have to be worked on. Where at the Marriage Foundation, we see the marriage as something you need to learn how to utilize. And we also see, and it's critical, that you learn how to master your mind. It's very, very important. And so that's what you learn from us. Now, there's a lot of people who have said, well, I want to become a TMF, the Marriage Foundation marriage counselor. Some people are clergy and they're already helping, trying to help their fellow parishioners. And some people are therapists, marriage therapists, and they realize that marriage counseling is much more than just solving one problem or just saying, how does that make you feel? That it's deep. And they've been watching these videos, you've been watching these videos, and you want to learn our stuff. And the counselors that we have now were trained by me, one-on-one, but we can't do that anymore. Our foundation is expanding. Just this YouTube channel now has over 27,000 subscribers. And so I'm creating an online course to train so that we have this huge community of real legitimate TMF marriage counselors who follow the same techniques and principles and really help people one-on-one. And if you'd like to be part of that, let us know. Go to the website and send a note over to customer support And we'll let you know when it's on the website so you can pre-purchase it, because it's not going to be ready for a while. And we're going to have a deep discount for those who do so. And you won't just start out with nothing. You'll start out with getting all the courses. It's really going to be a wonderful opportunity for you, and it's really going to help the foundation expand and grow. So I really appreciate your joining me. I hope you like this video. Give it a like. Leave a comment if you wish. And thank you again for visiting. God bless you, and take care. Thank you.